Right. Everything seems to be working. The audio seems to be working. If there's any issues, let me know in the chat. Right, let's continue. Let's continue. So what were we doing yesterday? We were looking at Vizia. Vizia is a different GUI framework for Rust. We looked at Freya last week and it didn't work out too well, and I went over the reasons why in yesterday's stream. We started trying to write an example in Vizia yesterday, got a little bit stuck, and then the author jumped on a Discord call with me yesterday afternoon, and then we ran through the rest of the changes that I needed to do to make it work. It turned out there weren't very many. I was struggling with the concepts of how to turn my document container into a view. Basically, it wasn't a view and it needed to be, was the upshot of it. And yeah, we went through a few other bits and managed to get somewhere. And this is where we got to. We've got a window and you've got home here and it says home in the middle, and we've got a document and it says loading, and then it says content for document 1, and if you click document 2 it then says content for document 2. And we use a thread in the background to just temporarily sort of pretend to load content. It just generates a string after a second. And that's where we got to. So what we need to do today is to sort of get it to, where are we? We need to sort of make it have this little sidebar thing on it. Now, long term we want a tree view, but currently Vizia doesn't have a tree view. However, the author has another program for dealing with samples and things like this, which has a tree view, and it also has the multi-column table views that we want, but we don't have them in the main core yet. So we're going to have to take a look at that at some point to see what we can do with them, because his code is open source, so we can look at that at some point, but not today. And also he has the divider, which lets you move this around left and right, the little divider thing. So we're going to need to do those. But first off, we want to get a sidebar on the left which maintains its state for each tab. So for instance, if I'm on the first tab and I've got phases selected, when I go to another tab and select placements and then go back to the first tab, it should still be on phases, right? So this is what we couldn't accomplish with Freya, at least not in a timely manner. So we're going to have a go at that. But before we do that, yesterday I was having a little think about this, and I was wondering whether there was an issue, because I've got this content and it's loading up in the background, right? I was wondering what happens if you quickly go from document tab 1 to document 2 while it's loading. And there's also the issue of the tab not being selected properly, which the developers looked into yesterday and found what the cause of that is. So we can have a look at that at some point as well. So we're just gonna quickly try going from document 1 to document 2 while it's still loading and see what happens. But it does say content for document 2, which is good. So if we go home, document 1, document 2 real quick. It does say content for document 2, which is good. I'm kind of curious to know what actually happens in the background there, because what we do, we send an event after 2 seconds after the document is loaded, and I want to sort of know what happens to that event if the current selected tab isn't now. Yeah, what happens to it? What happens to it? So, okay, let's have a quick look at the code and so you can see where we got to yesterday. So the idea was that we have an app, it creates some tabs, and it creates some tabs by creating document tabs, and each document tab has a document. The document, it doesn't have the content in here, it's just the name of the document and the ID for the document, as in just the things you need to be able to get the content of the document and display the tab. Right? And maybe there's a better name for document, but it's simple enough for now, it's fine. Right, so we create 2 tabs, and then we use a lens on app data to get the tabs, and yeah, we could probably get rid of some of that. And then we get a lens, which isn't really a lens. It's something that allows you to have allows you to get the data that you're interested in from the context using the get method. And then this method actually gives you a tab kind back, and the tab kind has got a build tab method on it. And if it's a document tab, then it calls tab build tab, and the tab that it contains is the document tab, and that tab knows how to build itself. And it does that by cloning the document. There's lots of sort of unnecessary, well, potentially unnecessary cloning going on, but at some point we can look into that, but not today. So we clone the document, we clone the name, then we can create the tab pair, which has got a label and an element. And then we've also got the content area, which is created by using the scroll view with a document container. And this is the bit that we were having issues with doing yesterday. It's like, how do we get the document container to load its content up? We weren't far off yesterday, and in fact we can have a quick look at the diff. We were close. So we were. Where is it? Document container. Building the tab. So yeah, we were close. It was pretty close. So we were using self container and so on, but we didn't really need to. We needed to have the document in the document tab rather than in the document containers tab. It was pretty close. One of the other main thing we did though was turning the document container into a view by doing this. That's the main thing we did. So hopefully I can sort of remember exactly what it is that we did. And hopefully it'll make sense when I try and do some other things in the future. I'm still not 100% comfortable with this reactive style of GUI programming. My previous, as I explained yesterday to the dev, my previous experience was like with Java UIs and sort of like more immediate mode GUIs and so on. So this is a bit of a learning curve, and I'm definitely out of my comfort zone with all this. So what we were interested in is what happens to the event. So we're asking the document to load itself. Where is that? Oh yes, and the other thing that we were missing from yesterday was the event handling. So how does the document load itself when you click the tab? That was one of the other things that we were interested in. And the answer to that was when the tab gets recreated, it emits, you can say, on build. And this was very hard, I wouldn't have guessed this in a million years, I don't think. and only with the help of the author of the library did we come up with this solution. Because it sort of requires knowledge on how the tab view works, but it doesn't really have any documentation yet. So the idea was that when the container is built, then it says load, and then we have two events, load and loaded. The load event spawns a new thread, sleeps for 1 second, generates some content, and this could be loading it off disk or going over to the Crux app to send an event and have that processed and so on. And then it emits a loaded event with the content. And then this event is handled in the document container's view and it basically just updates the content in the container with the content from the event. So yeah, and that sort of seemed to work. But I'm kind of curious. I want to put a couple of debug messages in here. Let's go event. Can we do a debug on this? Probably. I think we can do that, right? We can refer to the thing itself. I suppose we can just do that here, can't we? And the other thing that was interesting, instead of doing an event.map, we do an event.take, because we know that nothing else is going to need to process this event that we had. It's only for the container, which allows us not to clone the content. Let me see if I can get rid of it from here for a second. Yeah. And then we've got some other logging going on down here at the moment. This. And I don't think we need this. I don't need this event handling stuff at the moment. And I want some sort of tracing log, really. Right, need document event. Derive this. Right, let's see what happens. What do we think happens? So we've got loaded. So what if we go home, document 1, document 2 real quickly. So we go home, document 1, document 2. That's interesting, isn't it? What happened to the load? What happened to that thread? It's It's a mystery. It's a mystery. What do we think might be happening? So CP context proxy, like maybe it can't send it. I don't know. Do we even get an error? Emitted content. And how about we go failed to emit content? Do we see either of these two messages? So we go click, click, click. Oh, so it emits it, but it never receives the message. I mean, it might make sense. Like, quite how it does it, I don't know. Probably because the view doesn't exist the old view doesn't exist anymore, and therefore it can never receive the event. Probably why. There's probably some reference to some view or something. Yeah, that's interesting. So, and I guess that when that message is like not processed, then it just gets dropped, perhaps. Yeah, it's probably okay. Probably okay. All right. So that's what I wanted to know anyway. I wanted to make sure it wasn't broken. That was my primary concern with it. And it is indeed not broken, which is good. So it works. Let's see if there's been a fix for Vizia. For that content thing. Tab view fixes. Yeah, there is, look. Yeah, this one. I'm going to pull this commit in. There we go. Right, now let's see what happens. Right. Oh, look, we've got a selected tab indicator now. So we can actually see which tab is active. Yay, happy days. That's good. We like that. Okay, cool. Right, so now we need a sidebar. Alright, let's do the sidebar. What are we going to use to do it? I don't know. let's yeah, let's look at some of the other. Let's look at some of the other examples. Widget gallery and views. Right. Probably we want to sort of an H stack with two things in it. Let's just see if we can do it without even looking at anything. Just for fun. How are we going to do this? Quite how we get the UI to react when things happen in the sidebar, I don't know yet. Because Freya and Deoxys have this concept of routing and all this kind of stuff, which isn't present in Vizia. So here is where we've got our content, right? So we need to move our content into a container on the right. This was the thing that takes up the entire height of it, which we sort of still want, I think. So let's try doing H stack new with a context, and it gives us the context back in a closure in which we can add a sidebar thing. We need to add the sidebar and a line, and then that we can move around, and then something else. So let's move this into here. And this is the sort of thing that we're going for. So for the divider, I guess we want it's an element, I think, new. Does new take a function? No, it just needs the context. It's a bit different to the other ones. And then I think we're supposed to go dot. Let's make it 4 pixels wide. Maybe 2 pixels wide. And then I suppose we need the height. Oops. And then I don't know about this height here. Probably going to have to poke that around. And then on the left hand side we're going to want a new V stack. And I think we're supposed to, I don't know how to get the sort of widths of these things. And let's say this is 200 pixels wide. Still not sure about this child space thing. Oh, this was AK for padding, wasn't it? That's right. So it's not that. Let's do height on here as well. Now it's sort of like, how is this 100% of the height. I don't know. Right, so in this left-hand side VStack, we probably want like we need like a tree. We don't really have this tree thing, but we can have a list. For now, I suppose, like, you know, this kind of thing. So let's do a list. Right. Then we need some stuff for the list. Right. So if we say the data for this list doesn't come from app data, but comes from something else. Let's say document sections, right? Yeah. Well, is it? Hold on. Yeah, I suppose we can put sections in here. Right? This seems fairly reasonable. Like if you were editing like a Word document or something like this, you know, and you go to or a Markdown document or whatever, and you've got your table of contents, you sort of want to display that. So this document content needs to have one of these, but we need to have so what I'm thinking about is like we could send 2 events, or we could send 1 event with 2 things in it. Or we could send 1 event with a new document in it. How do we do this again? So why don't we change this document loaded? So instead of taking a string, it just takes a document content. Oops. Right, which will contain both of these 2 things. Right, and then we create a new one. And we add an empty list of sections to it for now. And let's just say section 1. Section 2. Let's try this. The default width of heightened stacks is stretch. Thanks, Geometric. Happy to see you here in the chat again today. If at any time you see me doing anything completely and utterly wrong, batshit crazy, please please let me know. Right, so what is this? Document content is supposed to have some. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. I was missing a comma. Right, so instead of doing that, we now put this in here. Let's say, I guess we can just go, it's not really document content, is it? Yeah, okay. It's kind of weird. Content, you know. We can probably come up with some better names for these things a bit later. And later on we'll change this so there's a different list of sections for the different documents based on the ID. But for now this will do. Probably. So now when we're replacing it, we'll probably do this. I'm not sure what's going to happen when we do that. So now we need to somehow get into this, which is a lens. I vaguely remember how to do it. Do we have a lens on document? Yeah, we've got one on document content. Yeah. So can we use this to do it? Where's my code gone? This one maybe. Document content. Sections. Right. Huh. That's interesting. How is it able to do that without first passing it? There's probably, it implements a result, right? So I imagine that this MakerPnP thing has got some implementation for that. Where's my tool windows structure? I'm looking for the impl result res thing for it, but I might not be looking in the right place. No. I don't know. Res T plus clone. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much. I don't care too much about the width of this thing. I want it to just take up the entire width of the container thing. Let's say... I'm happy to see the background color is there. And it's not just called background. Let's just go with a random grey. I'm just doing this so I can see the sort of outline of these things. Maybe there's a way to get it to automatically show you the colours. What I'm doing. Colour. Let's go royal blue. because, you know, let's put some more background colours on some of these other things so we can see what's what. Alice blue. We'll go grey for this one. And then we'll go pink for this one. Oh. Aye. Right, there we go. Oh, running the wrong thing. Run the right one, here we go. Let's see if we can compile it first. We made a few changes there, and we don't know whether it still works. Well, it compiles, that's good. Happy days. Does it work still? No. We get a crash. Why? We'll get a crash when we're creating a list. Do we not have failed to get data from context for lens? Is it because the document's not loaded yet? I don't know. Probably this is something like further down in the tree or something, and it's not associated with this thing yet. Should we be using the lens of the document container itself and then accessing the content from here? I mean, we've got the document here, but no, we don't have that. Right, we can do it this way. Hold on. Probably document container content. I don't know. And then do we need to do the map thing here? We need to. What do we need to do? We need to build the list from it. Let's see what happens if we just... No, it's not that. Dot map. Perhaps we need to... DC sections, perhaps? And clone it? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Oh. It crashed. Why? So it crashes when the document is loaded now. I'm not sure why. That might have been the other change I made. It goes emitted content, event loaded, and then it panics, entered unreachable code. Where? I love how I managed to break things in just like random ways. No, I don't. So apparently this is unreachable. It's probably because I'm replacing the entire thing. Label? Oh no, it's when it's trying to render this. So what is this item now? This item. Oh, wait a second. Wait, what? Look, the signature of this is a bit funky now. It's got a vector of what? And you can use the then method to get nested data with lenses. Where? You mean this? I'm not sure what you mean. Are you saying that instead of doing this, we do something else? Are we supposed to do dot then and then something? Is it like this? Used to construct a lens to some data contained with some other lens data. Then some data, other data. Oh. Oh, I see. So it's supposed to be document content sections. Right, and then instead of doing this, we do that. Yeah. Right, I think that's what I'm supposed to do. And then, yeah, you see. Thanks for the assistance again. Quite how I'd find this stuff out without you prompting me, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, it doesn't crash. Happy days, and we've got the selections. This is great, but this is... I don't know. I mean, that's sort of what I want, I think. Let's have a look at the colours. So we've got a royal blue bit, which is this dark bit, which is a background colour for the list, which is fine. The background colour for the items are grey, but they don't extend to the whole width. Don't know whether they should. This list thing, it needs some padding around it, and padding was child space pixels 4, let's say. Oops. Come on. Show me the window. Yeah, that's a bit better. Right. But these labels, do I need to make them like the whole width? Labels default to auto width. Make them stretch width. So stretch, and then what's a stretch? A factor of the remaining free space. So this is like 1. Like that. That's it, that's what I want. Okay, cool. Righto. Fine. Okay. So this tree view, it needs to show like a selected thing. So granted, I could have labels there, but I need to make it so that when they're not really labels, it's like a button group where only one button is active in the group, essentially. I really wish the tree view thing was there, but never mind. Yeah. So let's have a look at this list. So select focus. Selectable. What do you do with this? Right, I want a single select list. How do I do that? Where does this get used? Selectable. Yeah, I don't know. List event. We've got a list, or we've got a pick list? I still don't know what the difference between the two is. Oh look, that's interesting. They both use list. What's the difference? Navigable. Okay. Let's run this list example. Right, so here I can't select anything. Let's look at the pick list one. Oh, that's that one. No, it's not that. Let's run the widget gallery again. Like this thing on the left-hand side is what we want, right? So this is a... What is a pick list? I'm still a little bit confused about what a pick list is. This one's one of these. Why does that appear to the right? Can I make a suggestion in that if it can't render it above or below it, it should render it on top of it? I've never seen it, one of these, render to the right like this if it doesn't fit. What happens if it's too small? Yeah, that's not good, is it? Because you need to be able to scroll up and down this if it doesn't fit. Right, with the scroll arrow. Yeah. So it's got... Okay, let's look at the widget. What does it use here? What? It's using a tab view where the tabs are on the left. I mean, it's not really what I want, because I don't want to change the entire contents of the pane. Well, maybe I do in some cases, and other times I won't. But for this example, it's sort of like a document section. You should scroll the document up and down to the right section or something like that, right? This used to be selected where they track what was this selected item, but we decided it would be better for the user to track the selected in their data. That's interesting. I'm curious as to know what the reasons were for deciding that it was better for the user to track the selection in their data. Because it feels like, to me, that would just be repeated code every time you use the list everywhere. Most sort of like list implementations I've seen always have like an ability to either select 0, 1 or many things using like Control Shift modifiers on the keyboard and whatever. Like you've got a list and you press this and then you press Control, click another one and then press Control still and then press Shift and click another one. You know, this is the normal behavior of like a list for me. You know, holding Shift or click Shift or Control. It's pretty standard stuff, that is. Pretty standard stuff. It's what you always want. It's like, you know, like in HTML, you've got the select and the options, and they've got like this selected thing. It's super common, so I don't see why you would want a list that doesn't have the a list that didn't track its state. Okay. So I'm still slightly confused then, because this list implementation here in views has got this selectable thing. Where is it used? Impl res simple. What is it? So it implements res get for selectable, which provides get and get ref. But what uses this? Is it just dead code? Right. Ah, it's dead code. Yes, he's commented in the chat saying it's not used anymore, it's left over. Okay. What about this list event? Is this used anywhere? So where there's a select here, and there's clear selection. Yeah, and then it's commented out code again. Yeah. I'm really not enjoying finding commented out code. Yeah. Yeah. Let's add it to my list. Finding unused code. No selectable list items. Why has it got shift on there? That's weird. What? But wait a second. Let me look at this list example again. Curious. Okay. So, yeah. How are we going to do it then? Let's just make it emit an event. For now, I suppose. Back to my thing, right? So what are we doing here? Where do we get to? This is what we've got. everything's fine. So let's get rid of the horrible colours now that we know everything's working. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So we've sort of got what we want here. Yeah, good. But I want something that sort of has some indicator which shows us what section we're looking at in the document. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing, using the using a label to send the event exactly and set the index. Use a lens on the set index to set the checked state of the label. Kind of weird. Okay, we'll try it. So on these labels, we need to go on press, I suppose. It's a event context. Section event. Let's see, change. Yeah, sure. And then, do we have the index? No. So we're going to create a section. And what are we in? We're in document. Okay. Let's go. I kind of feel putting these here. Section event. Changed. I don't know what. It's probably that. Was that supposed to be? Why can't it find that? Oh, changed. Change. Right, yeah, fine. But where's this index come from? Why does it? Yeah. Why is it pink? That's kind of weird. I'm not sure how you get the index. Middle argument of the closure. Oh, it's this. Okay, cool. Thanks for that. I wouldn't have spotted that easily. Probably need to clone it. No. Is never read. Yeah, that's fine. Right. We've got nothing that does anything. So then I suppose we need something that handles section change events. So we've got this implement view for document container. And I suppose we can go how does this work? Section event change, I suppose. and then index. Then what? Let's see. Yeah, right, we can't do that because probably need another one because it's got a different type. Probably, I don't know. Yeah, it's a different event type, exactly. So the type for event has now been set because of this match using these things, right? But now, how do I do that? Can I call take again with a different type here? Maybe. I'm going to try it. I don't think this is going to work, but it might. I guess it all depends how it's implemented. I don't know if that's a good idea. Okay. What happens? Let's have a look. So we've got a document event, and then we've got a section event. It does work. Okay, we've got section 1 and 2. 0 and 1. All good. Okay, so now, what do we do with the event? How do we find the list that we created? Where is it? How do we find this list and tell it to do stuff? I've got no idea. What do we do? Maybe let's have a look and see how other views fiddle with things. Yeah, why not? Maybe let's have a look at radio. Surely this has got some event handling stuff in it. Yeah, here we go. Context.current. And then what's this self? Oh right, this is okay. What does cx.current give us back in here? It gives us an entity. Oh, it's got the. What's this target? What's this target? The entity the event should be sent to. The entity that produced the event. So, what's an entity and what can you do with an entity? How do you use entities? I guess is the question. Keep track of the selected index in your document content. Then you can use lens to this in your list. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where you would use the lens in the list. So are you saying that the document container should remember its active section, right, which is going to be an option U size then. Right, document content. It should be in document content. Should it be in here? I think it should be in here. No, I was right the first time. I think it should be here. So let's say self dot active section replace with index. Right, and then down here, this needs to have something in it. I don't know what. Then you can use lens with the labels in the list, yeah. What do I need to actually do here? Like, checked, checkable, checked, and then what? Can you give it a lens here? Let's try it. Document container. Active section. I don't know. I mean, because I need to say if this is sum and it's the same as the index that we're looking at. Selected. What's selected? That's a lens. Oh, so I see. So you map that, right? Yeah, okay. Dot map, and then you give it the context, and then you give it a little function which is going to be the let's say value selection. Yeah, and then go. Um, and I suppose we go, if it's some index, some active index, if active index is the same as the current index, then it's true. Otherwise, it's false. Something like that, perhaps. Missing, yeah, that's fine. Move something, I suppose. Okay. Don't need that anymore. Let's see what happens. Well, I mean, I don't know what that did. Let's, because there might not be any styles on it or something, perhaps. I don't know. Let's say let selected is this, right? Return selected and go print then. Let's just see what happens. I want to see if it even tries to redraw anything. There's lots of redrawing going on. Why is it doing this? So index 1, selected true. Index, so it is selecting it, but there's just no visual clue that it is selected, right? Now what? I guess we need to add some. Is this where we need to futz around with CSS? I hope not. I bet it is though. It's not redrawing, it's the binding system checking for a state change. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, okay. Interesting. So how do we style this? Let's search for :checked. Right. It's probably going to be something like this, isn't it? And this whole checked thing versus selected is weird. Yeah. Oh, he says, if you want to avoid CSS for now, consume a current background color. Hold on. Checked modifies using when you use style. You could use something directly with the background color. Like how? How do I don't understand how I could. So are you saying that if I. Let me just extract that for a second. What is. Just looking at the type signature of this. Like, I don't see where the conditional code would go on this label. I mean, I've got a handle to the label. Or should I be running a closure? Using foo here and then mapping the lens here, perhaps, so that it gives us a different background color. Yeah. Let's see if we can do it. Foobar. Right, so we get a boolean here. No, I guess we can go match. And then oh dear, what happened there? Yeah, okay, it worked it out good. So I guess if it's not selected, we do this. And if it is selected, let's just make it blue. Obviously we need to like use proper colors and things from a theme or something, but you know, I don't know, let's this is interesting, even if you know, I'm trying to avoid CSS, but you know, I probably don't want to avoid CSS. I probably do want to use a theme, but it's interesting to learn how to do it programmatically. So yeah. So then I can pass foo to this again. I don't know what happens if you try and use this twice, but let's see. Oh, it's okay with it. Look how it works. Yeah, I mean, it does definitely feel entirely unnecessary for like to expect users to write all this code when they're doing a list, in my opinion. Like, the list should just do it. Sure, the user might want to track the selection as well, but the list should sort of handle the presentation side of things. Okay. So what do I want to do now? What do we want to do now? Right. Let's see what the current behavior is when we switch tabs. So for document 1, we're selecting section 2. So what do we think is going to happen now when I press document 2? Hopefully, nothing should be selected. This is correct. Then we go back to document 1. What do we think is going to happen then? Because we still want it like that. Right. This is probably where you need the document or something to remember its path or something like this. Yeah, no, I understand why it's doing it. It's being rebuilt. The question is, what can we do about it? How can we make it so that when you switch tab, you go back to the same thing that you were looking at? Document container view owes the state. Yeah. 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 So the tab, right? What I'm thinking of, and what I'm thinking of is that the document retains some kind of path to where it was, right? Let's have a look. It's in the wait, the container is being rebuilt. Hold on. Let me have a look at that. Let me think about that. So the document. Oh, we've got gardeners with the leaf blowers. William Shatner has some views on leaf blowers. I don't know if anybody's listened to William Shatner. You know, Mr. Captain Kirk from Star Trek. His album's excellent. Futile is the word he uses for leaf blowers. Anyway, moving on. So we've got this document container, right, which has got the active section. And the document container, when we switch tabs, is being destroyed, and the new one is being created. So we're losing our active section. Right. Now, who owns the document container? Does anything own a document container? I forget. So the tab creates a document container. So I think what I want to have happen oh yeah, it's weird. No, I don't know what I need to have happen. So I guess if the application had a list of documents, I don't know. Trying to think of how to organise this. So if this app data, right, sure it has the tabs. Perhaps the document perhaps the state should be here. Should the state be here? Maybe. Right, but I don't care about the active section list view thing at all. Um, that's just an implementation detail of the UI. So the idea of the routing, right? Right. So in like Freya and Deoxys, there's this concept of like a route, right? And let's say, for example, the route is this. Right. That way, when the document renders itself again, it can look at the route and go, oh yeah, I've got a list view. Okay, my list view, I'm going to set the section list view's active ID to be the second parameter in the route because it follows section here, right? So this one, right? And then when you change, when we get this event in this, probably instead of going self.active section, we update the route. And then instead of looking at indexes here in this thing, I don't know, maybe there's an active section as well. Yeah. That's sort of what I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. But let's not do routes yet. Let's move let's just move it from where it is now. Hold on. Let me run this. Okay. Let's do a commit. Right. Let's move this. I don't know if this is going to be right or not, but I'm going to do it anyway, and we're going to see if it's possible. Maybe it should be in the document. But you see, we're no. It probably does make sense to put it here. Like this. Right, and let's just deal with moving the code out via compile errors. Right. So, the document container doesn't know anything about Right, the event processing. Where does the event processing go? Shit. Does the event processing go at the app level now? I guess it probably has to. Right, document tab isn't a view. See, it just feels so wrong trying to do any kind of processing there. Or does it? It just doesn't seem right doing that. Because look, the section event is private to the document. That I shouldn't have to. No, this no. Do we need another level of abstraction here? Yeah, I can see it coming. It feels like we need a sort of document group thing, and the document group is the thing that manages the root for has the state for the one of the items, all of the items in the group, and there might only be one item in the group, and if there's only one item in the group, then it displays the single only one. If there's more than one, then it displays a tab bar at the top, and away you go. And then all the events will be for the group rather than the document itself. Don't know. Yeah, a lens that does some kind of routing. Yeah. The question is, where do I put the event handling? Because like the only place I can currently put it is in the app. Let's just create a new view. Let's call it multi-document container, as opposed to a document container which only contains a single one. Right, and let's make this a view. Right, and then in here we can do this fun event, right? And then here I can put this. Section event, it doesn't feel right to me. It feels like the list view section event should cause like some root to be updated, and the root should then be stored somehow by a root changed event or something like this. It feels like an event between the two things is missing. But for now, we're going to make section event public. Oh. Pub. Fix me. This should be private. Right. Now, how can we get so this multi-document container is where we need to do something. We need to update the active section in I don't know. I don't know. What should we have in this? Let's move this. Is this right? App data tabs? No. Yeah, I guess it's not really. What do we do here? It feels like I want to move this into this multi-document container thing. If we go import multi-document container like this and go pub fun new, and it's supposed to return a handle to something, I think. Handle self, right? Let's refresh my memory on how you call new when you create a view. So you're always supposed to, right? You go self.build. So you create an instance of self, and then you call build on it. And then you pass it the context. Is that what you do? Hold on. You pass it the context and you get the context back in a closure. Right, 2 arguments. And then at the end of the build thing, yeah, you do that on build, right? Let's have a look. Let's move that out there. I'm not sure whether we should move that out of there or not. Let's not, I don't know. Ah, this makes a little bit of sense. Right. Wait a second. We need to put this state somewhere. I'm still trying to work out where to put the state. We can pass, when we build this document container, we can pass over the active section instead of this, so that it gets rebuilt from somewhere. This is what we need to do. Right. So let's say active section. It's going to be the same type as it is. It's going to be an option of usize. And we're going to say we're going to pass it, right? So if we're passing it, we need to get it from somewhere. So when we're building a tab, we've got a document tab. And the tabs are owned by, currently they're owned by the app. Tab GUI. Right. Self.activeSection.clone. Right. And we probably need to clone that here. I don't know if we do or not. So now we can do that. But document tab, we need to build here, and it's none to start with. Right. Still don't know about this multi-document container. We've got some event processing. Let's move this into here. I've got the wrong import here, yeah. And we still need to deal with this event handling stuff. So can we, what can we do here? I guess we need the tabs in here, don't we? Let's move the tabs. Out of app data. Because I don't think they should be in app data. Right. So here, I suppose we need to pass in some tabs. And then what are these tabs? They are a vector of tab kind. Right. So somehow we need to create this multi-document container, and that probably needs to be here. And then we've got this create tabs thing here. Let's just make this a random function. That just returns the vector. And then call it. Right. So this is going to have a view. It's going to maintain its own state. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, this is. Oh yeah, we had this before. There's a funny import going on. Yeah. Right, but we still need to handle this. But now we can actually handle this properly, because now we can give self. We don't know which is the active document at this point. And then it shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. This, no. Because we're going to have to do some. Okay, let's go. I suppose we could do something stupid like iterate over all the tabs and call the. No. What can we do? Let's put this back where it was for a minute. Right, because we still need this up here. Right. the document should handle the document section events. That's it, right? But somehow we need to persist some state for later. So perhaps, I don't know. Can we go context.emit? Like, it's going to be like, I don't know, state update, let's say document update or something, because later we want a root or something like this. Document root changed, or maybe just go root. And we'll just use a U size as the root for now. Right. And then let's say down here, in this multi what's his face Ujima flip, we go root event. Root changed, did we say? Root changed. I don't know. Let's go. And later we can transition this into a string, and do other fun things with it. Then what do we need? So now in here we can handle events. But we need document container. Because I don't want the document container to know that it lives in some tab thing, but maybe you just have to, because it's only a single one and it needs to. I don't know. This feels really weird. Because it needs to know which container, like what document, what root, for what has a root changed. Let's say can we get yeah, I don't know. thinking about, like, when we send an event, we say where the event is from. I don't know about the event system in this. Because when I'm emitting something, it knows who sent it, as in it's this view, this document container. So can I ask this document container for its document when I receive the event? Because I don't want to put in the fact that it's, you know, a document thing here. I just want any tab or whatever like that to be able to store its own root, right? Perhaps. Maybe maybe it should be a tuple struct here. So that every tab has a root. I mean, you could delegate the... I suppose each tab kind can have a root. I suppose we could do it that way. I don't really like the tuple structs. Let's have a look. Tab kind. Let's just say it's got a root, right? And that the document tab also has a root. And that a root, oops, is just one of these for now. Right. So we can say root event, root changed. Let's go right. And then we need some event processing. Oh yeah, we can get rid of this now. There's no root. And the home tab just doesn't need to process roots ever. Right. Then we can do some event processing in here. Now somehow we need to go to the tabs. Not in here. I'm doing it in the wrong place. That's the wrong place. Here. Now somehow we can go to the tabs and ask them to do something with the root now, I suppose. But it's like, for who? For which tab do we need to update when we get this message? So, let's see what happens when we do it. Data is not satisfied. It's kind of weird. Document tab. Yeah. And we'll just access the thing in it for now. Root event doesn't have debug. And therefore root also needs debug. Now, this then needs to be a lens as well, or have a lens, so that we can go multi-document container tabs. Okay. I mean, what happens now? It's sort of what I was thinking of. You know, and it all behaves as it did before, which is good. Yeah. What if instead of doing these here, I don't know how they take up the space. Maybe let's put those back and copy them into here. Should it be a stretch? There we go. Right, so everything's fine there. And we're getting the root changed message. Right. God, it's complicated, this, isn't it? Building GUIs. We were getting it, look. Root changed. That's what we want. Right, good. I mean, yeah, we're sort of getting there. So now we need to do something here. it's something like if the, like, let's go self.tabs right, and then go tab dot are you it, if tab owns root event, if tab owns event source element entity, and then it'd be like tab dot process event process change root update root. That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know how to. This I don't know about. This is easy. How do we do this? So in this meta thing, an event thing, there's some properties in here. So let's have a look. But the tabs, I mean, how does the... What's in the tabs to start with? The tab has got a tab kind, and then a tab kind has got either a home tab or a document tab. A document tab has got a document and a root. How can... I mean, we can sort of do it if, when we have the root changed event, we pass the document there too. Right? But when we emit the event, that is. But I'm not sure that's right. Document container. Okay, so we are emitting this. Let's rename this to document root event. That way, it makes more sense to go document. Let's say document ID. self.document.id. Right. Dot clone. There might be a better way of doing this, but I don't know it. Right. So now, when we're doing this root change thing, we've got a document ID and a root. Right. So now it's fairly easy to go, if this is for you, then do it. Right? But you see, the thing is, I don't quite like this because the home tab doesn't know anything about documents. Maybe we should just delegate event processing. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's do that. So if the multi-document container gets any event, we'll just go... We're just going to do this. We're just going to delegate event handling to the tab. tab dot event, and then we'll go context and event. Right. See these yeah, it's a bit weird. Tab kind. And then we're gonna do the pub fun event. And it's weird, but you know, and it needs to take some stuff, context and event. Right. I need to know what these are, so hold on a second. Keep that bit of code. Let me grab these. You know, and all this stuff, sort of just delegate to the right one. Some kind of polymorphism or interface or something like this for these would be nice, you know, traits and things like that. But for now, we're just going to do it like that. So home tab. Do we have a mutable reference? Yeah, we can hit a mut on that, yeah, because we've got mutable self here, so we can do that. Yeah. It might work. It might work. Okay, so we don't have an implementation for this. Wait, maybe we do. Yeah, we do. Right, so the home tab, there's nothing to do. Right, but for the document tab, this one, and maybe these document tabs should be views or something like this. I don't know. Anyway, we're trying to delegate it, and I had some code earlier. This. Document tab, right. This one needs this in it. Document root event. So now it can update its root. Self.root is wait. If document ID equals EQ self.document.id, then process the root. Self.root is root. Maybe. Maybe. What do we think? So, section 2, section 1. Cheers. Ta-da! It works. So when we go to document 2, it should be on section 1. It's not. Did we click a section on here? Maybe we didn't. That's weird. Why does it work for that one and not for this one? Oh, probably because it was not already updated. So let's go section 2 and then section 1 and then this one. No. Why doesn't it work for document 2? What the hell? That's odd. I mean, that works. Why doesn't it work for document 2? Oh, I know why. Because document 1 took the event. That's why. Probably. So, section 2, section 1. Correct. And I think this is going to work now. Yes! Happy days! Happy days! This is all I want to do. It took a week to try and get this to work in Freya, and I couldn't get it working. And now it works in this. It's done. It works. We've got some persistent state that we can go back to when things get represented. And I've got my own crappy router, which currently only knows about a section. But, you know, we can change that. Okay, fine. Everything's great. Working. There we go. What do we do? You know, this is... why is this color channel? Oh, no. That's temporary stuff. Yeah. I mean, it sort of works, doesn't it? This should be private. It probably is now. Let me check that. It probably can be now. Yes. Ta-da! Fixed. The document container thing doesn't care about sections. It shouldn't care about sections because it can contain home and document 1 and document 2. It needs to delegate it to the implementation of the tab. Right. Okay, fine. So we've got a bunch of warnings here. So we're going to underscore a bunch of things. Yes, it doesn't need to be mutable anymore, it's true. And then it's complaining about root being more private. Root itself needs to be pub. Let's put this in a mod. And then we've got this tab GUI. Let's put the document root event. And let me think about this. Where does this need to be? This document root event probably needs to be in the document mod. And then this is in the document tab. In the tab GUI. Okay, yeah. So this should be public. Which makes sense. Because other things out above it need to retain the state, which is fine. This can be public now. Okay, cool. Does it still work? Should do. That delay. Is annoying me. From millis. Let's say 250. Oh, amazing. Amazing. Let's just go to do make the sections different for each document. Let's say that. What are we up to now on the stream? 2.5 hours today. 2.5 hours. We're getting there. We're definitely making a lot of progress today. This is good. I suppose let's go. Let's just fix that now. Let's go match ID. And then can we go document 1? Yeah, let's fix this up. And we're going to make it return a tuple struct. And the first one is going to be and some sections. Oh, I suppose this can actually return a content here, can't it? Instead of needing to do this here. Yeah, that's fine. We haven't finished yet. Let's fix all this up. How do I match on this? Let's go with the 69 and 42. The only two numbers you need to know, right? Oh yeah, we need an equal sign, that would help. I don't know. Matching on strings, huh? Oh, it's because I was looking at this ID, but we shadowed it here. Yeah. That's what I was trying to find. There we go. That's it. There we go. Section 4 and Section 2 and Section 6 and 9. So we're going to select 9 over here and 4 over here. We're all good. Happy days. I don't know, is it 7? Something like that. 8. I was close. Alright, I'm fairly happy with that now. Okay, right, so we're sort of in a reasonable position to now try taking this user interface that we've created and adding it to the planner. What was the planner again? We've been so caught up in all this user interface stuff that we've sort of forgetting what it is that we're even trying to build. Yeah. Right. Okay. So there's lots of sort of little cleanups and all this kind of thing that we're going to want to do as well, like making it use the themes and making it, you know, pretty and all this kind of stuff in this example. So there's going to be a lot of set up a boilerplate stuff that we're going to have to do in order to transition this. So, if you remember, we've got a Planner app and a Planner CLI, right? And then last week we created a Planner GUI, but that was using Freya. So now we need the same thing, but using Vizia. Okay, I can't keep forgetting the name of the app, with the name of the library. So I guess I'm going to start doing that at some point. But right now I need a little break. Yeah, oh dear, excuse me. Yeah, but we made good progress today. I'm happy with that, that's good. So, thanks Geometric for popping in on the stream today. That's definitely some of the comments there was very helpful. Much appreciated, again. So just remember folks, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll find out on the next one. See ya.